Welcome to the DLA Commission meeting for June. I just want everybody to know that we'll be doing the business of the commission, and then we'll have some time at the end for public comments. So please take notes and make those comments at the end of the meeting. Thank you. And we're going to start the meeting. Jesse,
you want to do the pledge?
We'll do the pledge. I got the flag. So right hand salute. I pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been met by transmitting the notice of the regular meeting to the Commissioner's official newspaper on February 9th, 2023, posting the notice where required, and filing a copy of the notice with the Commission Clerk. The DLA Commission meeting will be audio and video taped and will be shown on APTV, Optimum 77, and throughout most of Monmouth County on FiOS 28. Alan Hurst?
Aquí. Here.
Asbury Park?
Here.
Deal? Interlaken?
Here.
Lock Arbor?
Here.
Neptune?
Here.
And Ocean.
Here.
Tonight we have Resolution 2338, a resolution to approve the minutes of the regular meeting. I forgot to put in Deal and Neptune. Can't vote. I'm sorry. Sorry, Eric. Someone please offer.
I offer.
Second.
Who
Asbury
offered?
Park.
Okay. And who first did?
I did.
Donald Brockall.
Okay, thank you all. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Bruce, did you get the treasurer's report?
D. The balance on hand from the previous month was $158,467.16. We had total receipts of $11,579.41. So that the total available is $212,865.81. I neglected to say that our total deposit was $201,286.40 because we also had $42,819.24 in the New Jersey Cash Management Fund. Our disbursements were $5,573.71. We also had grant disbursements of $51,515. So our total disbursements for approval were $57,088.71. The balances of $155,777.10. And that's it.
I just want to point out all the assessments are paid for 2023. That's pretty good. Pretty
Very
good.
nice.
So someone please offer to approve the treasurer's report and pay bills.
I'll offer.
Second,
Interlaken seconds.
Alan Hurst,
Yes.
Asbury Park,
Yes.
Interlaken,
Yes.
Lock Arbor,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yes.
and Ocean.
Yes.
Okay, Don, it's all yours.
Okay. To say it's been a busy month is an understatement. A little frustrating here and there for the chairman. A lot of work, a lot of sweat, and a lot of heartache. And we'll go over a little bit more of that. And we had some good news, but I had a lot of work with the DEP this month, so which I'd rather not do. Right. So let's get right into it. The 2017-319 grant, we're rolling along, and the rain gardens are looking great over in Ocean Grove. And I have a note here from Peter that we have the Peter's team that we got the approval on the design of the tree boxes. Peter, you want to go over that a little more?
Sure. What we have to do for a structure like that is to receive from the contractor the manufacturer specifications that we put out in our bid. And we got that back. We looked at it. We ensured that they were exactly as we had specified. I believe Steve looked at them as well. And Senior Bruce, the tree box, is scheduled to go just on the west side of Lake Drive off the gazebo near your place. So you'll be able to monitor it and
Oh.
report.
I've been looking forward to it.
I know, I'm gonna hire you as our inspection consultant.
Give me a
So
gun,
this will
anybody
close
goes
out
in
our
there.
project. So many people were involved in this 319 grant, starting with Steve and going through Jack and Princeton Hydro and our friends over there. And Turner Shell was out in Asbury Park, and we walked the entire area. The Wesley Lake Commission members that came and walked probably 3 or 4 times the areas that we were going to do the work, and everyone from Asbury Park. And Jeannie, how you help coordinate the kids from the high school, and Mayor Moore, and everybody that was involved in this project. We should probably put a plaque up for ourselves, because there had to be 100 people involved. And Jesse's work with Lorraine to coordinate the payments and just everything. So Don, congratulations on this grant. When the tree well goes in, we'll have Senior Ken will have a bottle of champagne on his porch,
We should do
Yay.
that. That's
or
right.
sangria. That might be more
And by the way,
appropriate.
all those hours of time and energy that you just spoke of, we have to actually categorize and and send it to the DEP.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, you want to address that a little bit? We had talked about it online.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to what we've done in the past. So if you look at, if anybody wants to pick up the application that was submitted to DEP, look at it. I believe it's the last table in the application package. It establishes what the Deal Lake Commission and various partners are going to do to provide in-kind services. Now, those in-kind services are not required, but they help us land grants. So essentially, like the meetings of the commission, these inspections that are being done by Peter and his staff, that a lot of that is being done and not being charged to the grant. All the cleanups that are done by volunteers, the clean out of the basins by Asbury Park, all of those things end up being counted towards in kind. And we have categories that were set up, and I'm going to say, the amounts that are assigned to each category, DEP reviews it. They're somewhat liberal, meaning that, they understand that, we may hit some of those targets, we may not, but bottom line, we do have a spreadsheet, and it's just a matter, it's just a matter of compiling all that and then demonstrating that we've hit those targets.
Right. I think we had, Chris is going to work that with Princeton Hydro, right?
Yeah.
I didn't see an email back from him. I assume he's going to do it.
If he runs into a problem, I can help.
Okay.
I've done it before in the other grants, but yeah, it should be pretty straightforward. We've been down this path numerous times. Jesse has
Yeah.
gone down that path too. So
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to keep Jesse away from it because she's losing her mind in other places.
I had a little meltdown today, just a little.
She's a little busy. So
okay.
yeah, we can handle this, I think,
I can do it.
ourselves.
No, we've
But the
done it before.
DEP is actually specifically asking for this,
Yeah.
and they want to see it. So we're gonna end up we'll give it to them with a road, with a bow on it, I guess.
Yeah.
Steve,
Yeah,
We've done it before.
I know Stephen, when I was reading the grant and the new grant too, we talk about, something I like to talk about a lot, and that's education that we do for the public and in the community. And I'm sure that you will be including some of that, because
Oh yeah.
aside from the high school involvement and all that, there's just been a lot of training of municipal employees, and a lot of information we've been getting out to the public throughout this time during this
Yeah,
grant.
absolutely. So yeah, all of those things, we're just going to have to roll into sort of like a spreadsheet and then provide DEP. The easy things are going to be like the meetings, the shoreline cleanups, the work by Asbury Park and maintaining the MTDs. Those are all things that are very easy to go back and document. But Jack was probably tracking some of this, and I guess it's just a matter of touching base with Chris Mikolajczyk, the see where they are with that. But it's-
You're talking almost 5 years of effort. So we got a lot of hours,
you got a lot.
a lot of
Yeah.
hours. So it's
Yeah.
good news, but thanks, Steve.
Okay.
Let me roll on here. Any other questions on the last 319 grant? And we should be getting paid, I think we're at $31,000 for a couple efforts. We combined a couple of packages. We had another $50,000 we just spent. That will come back. And also we need, now I don't know the rules on this, Jesse. Now we can pay the next bill 50,000 or the balance of the 136 next month, right? We can cut a check for that, I guess. We don't need another motion on that, right? We
No,
already,
but we'll just see how much we have in the bank if we get any of the
Yeah,
other
right.
payments. 'Cause you
Right,
have to have
right.
enough to keep running the commission.
so it'll be a minimum 50,000 or the full amount, which is like another 10,000 or something like that. So
No, it was 136.
136. Okay. So it'll be about 80,000, 86,000. So, okay, we'll play it by ear and let Rick make that determination. I think I'm going to try to get the check to Tony tomorrow or next week.
You should come in and sign tomorrow.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay. Shoreline protection. Well, we're not doing real good. My stun gun's not working. There's a lot of stuff going on. If you live on the lake, you're seeing it. So, and it seems the frustration piece is nobody can quickly stop anyone. And I believe the towns are blowing it. I think the towns need to do more, and we're going to be asking for the towns to do more. And right now, certain towns do not believe they have the authority. Others do. DEP's given me some tips on how to approach that. So we'll work on that. But DEP's understaffed. They're doing their best, but they can only do notice of violations and fines down the road on some of these cases. And I got to show you one. Let me just share the screen with you on this one. And this is almost a funny one, to be honest with you. Let me get to the email here. This is a property in West Allenhurst. Do you see it? This is where the dock is in Filipino Island, near the golf course, near Monmouth Road. And instead of trying, they could have dug out the muck, right? But they built the dock. They assembled a floating dock, many, many sections, and continued out to the water. And I believe,
wow.
yeah, they went even further. So if you look at this shot, this is like, there's 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14 sections right here. I don't know what those suckers go for, but it's got to be over $1,000. So that's a lot of docks.
Wow.
And you can't really see it, but some neighbors reported it, and I took under my belt to send the photos to DEP. They actually filed the violation notice. But the dock was brought out to this spot. I think it's even longer now. I think it's much longer than that. So the DEP's got that ball, and I believe there's a lot of violations there somewhere.
Well, just before we started the meeting, Don, I'd mentioned to you that, and I agree with you, the towns need to know, we need to have a little more clarity. And I had a meeting with the officials of Asbury Park, and they agreed that there's often a lot of confusion. And, when they get calls about things that people are reporting along the lake. But also with planning, we talked about putting something on any permit for a home, any kind of home that's going to have permits from the city and that's along the lake, any home along the lake that's going to require a permit for a porch or whatever, that there will be something that the people receive from the city directly that tells them that they must contact the NJDEP if they intend to do any construction or landscaping or, the things that we're talking about all the time. So they know about it now, and they're thinking about who's best to get that information in each town, in our town, but in every town, that discussion they feel needs to be going on, and that information needs to
disagree with that. I can't
guaranteed to their people, because this is, I don't know why it's new, but I guess it is. So we just
No,
have. to
here's the
find it.
issue. Here's the answer on docks, and I got a pretty good clarification. Docks are okay. Docks are not evil. Docks that are built with, like a foundation around it, that water can't flow around it or in it. That's a problem. Water's got to be all flow. It can float. It actually can be embedded into the lake. A different interpretation than what Steve and I and Peter have heard in the past. But that's what the current group believes to be true. And that's something we're going to have to sit down with them and get more clarification on. But floating docks seem to be not a problem. 20 of them could be a problem. There's a size limitation for sure. And they can't go out in a major waterway.
So my question about how are all the towns, the 7 towns, going to individually?
Amy, we have to wait on that. We don't know that answer.
No, it's a question. I'm
gonna-
not
we're
looking
not
for an
gonna-
answer
We're not
tonight.
you're right. We got to sit down and talk about it.
Yeah,
And the DEP is going to help us with that discussion. And
Good.
each of us have to deal with our own towns. I just heard something today about tree ordinances in Lock Harbor, I believe. And they're working, and there's a new regulation in the state that folks have to comply with, I believe. Is that correct, Peter? Is there a new?
There's a component of the stormwater management grant, I believe, that now mandates a tree ordinance that's written by the state of New Jersey, not written by the towns. So the
Okay.
problem we have is a town like Interlaken that has their own tree preservation ordinance to govern their town the way they want their town governed,
Right.
is now going to be superseded by something from the state of New Jersey by a bunch of people who don't know what they're doing.
Wow.
That's the bottom line. So I
Wow.
complained back to the state while this was going on. I haven't heard back from them. And on your permit issue with the state, I agree to some extent, but I don't to others. This is a state regulated activity. It's in state open waters. It requires a tidelands license. It requires a tidelands lease. So the towns don't belong overseeing that.
That's
It's not
right.
their responsibility.
no, it
Yeah.
isn't. But
So
they,
to
but
get
it's,
to that point, you're going to be doing something that the state does, and they'll come back and have a different opinion.
No,
because
you're
it's
right.
wrong.
It's very confusing. The state basically is pretty much given a carte blanche okay on most of these docks, according to what I'm hearing. So that's definitely. a
Yeah, we'll
discussion.
get into it though. You
Yeah.
know, we have to
Yeah, I
have a
mean-
subcommittee and we'll
Right.
get into it.
Right.
That state tree ordinance or tree regulation that you mentioned, has that already been passed? Is that regulation
I don't know.
in the
and,
administrative code?
it was given to us a few weeks ago as a draft that was going to be approved as a function of the stormwater management permit process. My
Because
question
if-
first to them is why stormwater management? Why are they focusing on trees for stormwater management? Focus on stormwater management.
But if the tree ordinance is that they're writing, the tree regulation they're writing is a good one, it would be very simple to have the towns adopt it through their ordinances, and then the towns, it would seem to me, would have some enforcement authority.
Mhm.
But
I'll get a copy of it to Don and we'll distribute it and take a look at it together.
Interlaken
Yeah.
had a pretty good one. I mean, I remember, right? Peter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It might be, they might be taking some meat out of it. So that's the problem, I think.
or maybe
Okay.
may strengthen it in some regards. you know.
Good. Yeah, good. Okay, that's it.
Thanks.
Shore protection is a challenge. There's we have over 8 cases that we're dealing with right now on the books for Deal Lake. Anywhere from tearing up the grasses and bushes on a shoreline to literally chopping down 30 trees and putting bulkheads up and pools up.
right, mhm.
And these are active cases for the DEP, and they're digging into them. It just takes time. It's just like the JCP&L mess that we had down in Lock Harbor, and they eventually got to let a notice of violation. So
Yeah, but the problem is, once it's done, it's done. And then all it's going to be is fines.
I-
Unless we could get injunctions, unless there's some injunctive authority to stop these things, so somebody pays the fine, the damage is done.
I agree. Bruce, you brought a good point. I asked Hunt, that is a great time. Hunt, what did you find out about injunctions? Because I asked you on that.
Well, here's the problem. And I've talked to the municipal attorney in Ocean, and I've talked to a couple other people, and they're all saying the same thing, that they don't believe that they have jurisdiction. The Deal Lake Commission is a joint meeting created by 7 towns, and it's not possible for the towns to create this organization and give it any more jurisdiction than they have. So we have no jurisdiction in order to bring these suits. It just doesn't exist unless we can come up with another. What was explained to me is if there's some contact between what's going on in the town out to into the water, then they might have some control over it. But simply putting a dock out in the state waters, they're not going to touch it. And nor do we.
Well, I think what Bruce is talking about more is trees along the shore, that 50-foot buffer, right? And
Yeah.
tearing out bushes. I mean, if you can't stop them right away, it's over in a couple hours.
Well, I suppose years ago, I mean, a long time ago, when Danny Jacobson was representing the Deal Lake Commission, I believe he instituted suit against several of the property owners. Steve would probably, or Peter would have a recollection of that.
Yeah.
I wasn't on the board then. So.
That was because of soil erosion problems. So there was widespread soil erosion problems, and they were in violation of the Soil Erosion Act. So yeah, that was done, and there was about 50 properties that were put on notice, and they were actually given a list of recommendations on how to correct their problems, and we had really good compliance. But yeah, there was a threat of them being sued. But you're absolutely right, Hunt. That was done, and I actually do have a list of all the properties, and Peter and I put together sort of like a let's call it a recipe for each one of those properties, specifically what they should do to correct their problems. But yeah, this whole thing with the clearing is getting out of hand. And then on top of that with Don, I mean, you should show that picture of the bulkheading. I mean, that's insane because that's obviously a violation. The 2 bulkheads.
Hold on, let me get them. You just.
But again, these violations are within the municipal boundaries. The municipalities can go after these people.
Yeah. But as we're saying, once the damage is done, there's almost no recourse. I mean, they can fine them, but the fine's going to go to the state. It's not going to help repair the lake.
That's why Don is questioning, and what I'm questioning is whether we could get some injunctive relief.
Yeah.
I mean, if we put it in the ordinance, that the ordinance is that the town officials, the town enforcement authority, can issue a temporary restraining order, stopping them from doing it. Then there's a chance we can stop them. But I think we have to have an ordinance, and I think the ordinance can't just provide for fines. It has to allow the local officials to issue restraining orders to stop it before the damage is done.
This property,
the towns have authority to issue stop work orders where they see violations of their ordinances.
Right.
So there's nothing to stop them from doing it. It's just a matter of getting them to do it.
Okay.
this property that Don's showing right there, as I understand from Eileen Chapman, that when she called the police about that property, they stopped it. Isn't that correct?
They stopped it for that moment, for that day. But the problem was it was stopped by the town. They had a stop work order on them for a week or so. And then when they just did the soil containment on top, I believe, and they talked to DEP, the DEP said they were allowed to do the bulkheading if they're replacing the bulkheading. It was authorized. It was one of the what do they call it, Steve?
It has to be like it's a permit by rule. So
permit by rule. Yes.
However, it needs to be done in kind, meaning that it can't be increased in volume, length, or width. So if you have a failing bulkhead, you're allowed, to go ahead, and now DP sets limits on that too. So that permit by rule does establish a limit. It says, okay, homeowner, you can make those not modifications. You can make those repairs, but you can't modify what's there.
Right. Now, by this example, this is one that township basically put their hands up and they dumped it on the DEP. DEP didn't have any authority to stop it. All they can do is write notice of violation, which could take months.
Yeah.
So
this is also right, and this is also an example of this is out of compliance with the soil conservation rules. All right. So any kind of disturbance over 5,000 square feet, and that's more than 5,000 square feet, that needs a permit from the Freehold County Soil Conservation District. I'm
Right.
sure they don't have a permit for that. So they've got all of that vegetative clearing, all those trees were cut down. Now they have those two bulkheads that were put into place. You know, and
The
what are you
town's
gonna-
working the tree issue. I don't think they're working the soil issue, which I thought was a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, that needs to go back. That's a county thing.
Well, it's
But
not county. It's not county. Its soils are different. It's
no,
not part of the county.
soils is from freehold. It's from, it's.
Yeah,
county.
but it's not part of the county operation. It's something else. Peter, you know what that is. It's a state operation, I think, or
Well, the freehold, the soil erosion is the Soil Conservation Service, but that's rescinded to the individual districts.
right.
So it's located in the county, but it's more than the county area. Freehold Soil Conservation District is our district, just like Steve said.
So anyway, this is the things we need to look at. And this is a great example of how a town could help out. And I think could have stopped it, but they don't. They stop at the edge of the water. They don't even talk about going in the water. And actually, I think they stop at the edge of the abutment, they're going down because the state, I think that was state-owned land, I think. So anyway, we got some work to do.
Yeah,
It just looks like they raised that whole bank.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Right.
It was, if you saw the bulldozer, the backhoe dumping the dirt in the lake, that was even more disgusting.
right.
Oh my
And then when
gosh.
it rained, all the water, all
During,
the dirt was washing into the, when it rained, all the dirt was washing into the lake.
and this was during fish spawning season, which are
Right.
not supposed to be in a lake from 1 May to 30th of June.
Right.
They're not supposed to be working near the lake. So
Now,
Did
it's
these
done-
people get
Yeah.
any permits? Did they get any permits at all to do any of this? Or they just
None.
went and did it on their own?
they're
Zero.
on their own.
Did it?
And, and as Don's saying, I mean, we have been aggressively pursuing these, violations or suspected violations with DEP. So it's not like, it's not like all of a sudden we're just bringing it up now. I mean, this has been stuff that's been ongoing and it's frustrating. It really is frustrating.
So
Yeah.
we're going to have, it's what's going to happen is we're going to end up sitting down with Vingo Powell and sitting down with the state and trying to find out a solution, because I think they're undermanned right now, understaffed, and they need help, definitely on the enforcement side. But the other piece of it that's a really frustrating is what Peter was talking about. There's a difference between what Deal Lake stops at the railroad tracks, and it's
Right.
free and open competition. You can do anything west of the railroad tracks, and that's not correct,
Mhm. No.
right, Peter?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Don, I don't want to get into it now, but we
But-
can talk about the state open waters at a future meeting. And
Okay,
they created these tidelands maps and they
Right.
took specific ownership of the state waters. They
Got it.
mapped it. You buy a piece of property that has tidelands on it, you have to pay the state of New Jersey to relinquish that tidelands claim. Now
Yeah.
they're saying, well, do whatever you want in it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We're not going to enforce it anymore
got
because
it.
our
Got it.
enforcement doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
Thanks,
very
Peter.
frustrating.
I mean, DEP has required the commission for projects that we've done within those areas that have that titling claim on it.
Oh, we
We've been
pay.
required to pay.
We pay.
Yeah.
The Rec Pond outfall paid thousands of dollars to put the outfall into the Atlantic Ocean.
Really?
We didn't get anything. Yes, because it's in state open waters.
All right, let's move on. Goose. I
Oh,
believe we have
very
reports on the geese. So the report I got today was we had, I believe, let me see if I got it right. We had nine nests that were treated, on the lake. And that could be around 40 eggs, somewhere in that area. So that went really well. We do have a batch of geese. I'm not sure where they're from, but they're young geese over in Asbury, Kingsley and Deal Lake Drive. I know people are feeding geese over there.
Right.
They do get over there and hanging out. So we just had that area treated today, and we'll see what happens. But it's they don't have wings, according to our goose expert. So they're not
Where's the
eating-
location of that treatment, Don, that happened today?
It was, our standard area by Kingsley and Deal Lake Drive.
Okay, thank you.
But the geese can't fly. They're only walking.
Yeah.
That's what the guy said. They're unable to
Right.
fly. It's a whole flock of them. There must be 20 of them, but they're not from our lake. They must have come from another lake. Maybe they walked down from Wesley or Sunset. I don't know.
Yeah, they molt, and so like, yeah, right now, and then all the young ones don't have enough feathers to fly yet, and the older one and the adults have molted, so they can't fly.
Yeah. Well, we're hoping to get wings soon, fly south, that's for sure. So, okay, the carp, nothing on the carp, and the goose. And the goose problem is, I think it's less around the lake I've only seen two groups of youngins, so it was a big success. Another topic, sore subject right now is the restoration of the Four Lakes. Good news on Lollipop Pond. There's a group of people trying to take hold of that. I think we talked about it at the last meeting.
Yep.
The Terrace Pond and Fireman's Pond is moving on. Bless you. They're moving on with they did soil testing, and that looks like it's going to get done. But Terrace Pond, there's some issues there, and we're working with the town of Ocean trying to correct that, and the county. We had all the county folks together, Tommy Ornone and Joe Ator and one of the head of the DEP or their public works. Excellent meeting with them, but we got to do more soil testing, and we have to get the town to approve more funds for that effort. I believe they might have some put away. I'm not sure, but that's still going. Hopefully, we get something done in November on that, and we're going to push hard on that. Water testing. I know we're getting a lot of emails in on folks that want to do testing. Did you see those, Jeannie?
I haven't seen them.
There's been a bunch of emails in from your request and sent into our contact page.
Okay, I have, yeah.
Yep. So
I'll be in touch with you today, tomorrow about that.
Yeah, somebody called me on it today and asked.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they're definitely, we definitely got people.
Good.
Beating down
That's
our doors.
great.
Yep. The new DEP grant, we got a couple of hiccups. Pete's team is trying to work through it. And Ricky, our financial guy, is trying to get a three number code. I'm not sure what number the code is called right off the top of my head, but it's a federal code, and we're all batting our heads against the wall. And Matt Mariano is also frustrated with the system because the state's not allowing him to enter certain information into the system. Pete, you want to go over that a little bit?
It's just very frustrating. They have this new online application process, so everything's done electronically. So it worked fairly well when it started, and now it's evolved after a couple of years, and they've put changes into it, and they require this number. It's called a UEI number. It's a federal code for each applicant or municipality, and you insert the code and it kicks it back to you, and then you go to the state and they say, we're having trouble with our software, and now we're waiting months to get the application information submitted so they can effectively give us the application so we can start work on the project.
And give us a number.
Yeah, just give us a number. So we have Ocean Township working on it. I mean, Matt Mariano does this for every town we work with, and everything gets processed.
Yeah.
We're doing it for the DLA Commission, and it doesn't get processed. So think about that when you're going to sleep tonight, Don.
Is that the PMRS?
Yes, it is, Jesse. It used to be the SAGE,
Right, okay.
and now it's the PMRS.
Hey, can we use the Ocean Township UEI number?
Yeah, I talked to Matt about that today, and we were going to work on that with Dave Brown.
Okay. If we have
and
to.
Rick, Richard Garst too. So
Okay.
we're working on it.
All right, thanks. Okay, so that's a big piece of the whole Seaview
Yes.
Mall thing. I
Yeah.
remember that's a grant for Seaview Mall. Okay, and we can't do anything until we get the contract in place. So,
Steve, I don't even know if you can build time to it. They may not reimburse you if you
No,
build time prior to their agreement.
right. You got to be really careful with that. No, you can't.
Hey,
Technically,
Peter?
you can't.
Yes.
next week, Wednesday, maybe Matt and I, you or just Matt and I call that the girl that's running the show and have a discussion with her. What do you think?
Let's look. Yeah, okay.
You like that?
Sure. Let's do it. We're here.
Okay, we'll do it.
Yep. You sent her name to me today. I know the name.
Yeah, I forgot her name. Also.
Yep.
Okay. JCP&L violation, no update on that. Other than I was going to mention it at the tower meeting the electric tower meeting in Allenhurst yesterday, but I never got the opportunity to do it. So they tabled the motion, tabled the planning board meeting last night in Allenhurst, and what that is all about is they're running power cables down Corley's Avenue from Darlene. They're adding a new 34,500 volt line for resiliency and all the kinds of other good stuff. And that's going to go to the power plant in Allenhurst for more power distribution and better resiliency. But they want to do it with these giant poles, and Allenhurst is against it. And the easy solution is underground and under the bridge, which the county's all for. So we're just kind of waiting them out, and hopefully they'll finally make a decision and do the right thing and put it underground from a short distance to West Allenhurst, and the rest under the bridge and under the road to the power station in Allenhurst. So that was quite interesting discussion last night. If you get an opportunity to see the video, watch it. Weed treatment is complete as of today. It was done today. They had a challenge. It was much more sediment there than we thought. It went well past the island, a little island they had there. So the discussion we had on Terrace Pond dredging today got a little deeper based on that discussion we had with the soil or the weed guy today. But he did a complete job. He says, let me get the right term here. Milfoil, definitely, it was growing, some growing. Bladderwort, Steve. How about bladderwort?
Yeah, it's been there in the lake before. It's a new, we don't see it that often. But yeah,
said it was on the bottom. It was
and
on
I
the
had
bottom.
looked at I was by the lake last week, and I had taken a look at that, the treatment area too, and it seemed to have been done pretty well. I had been in touch with Chris, and he told me that they had done their first treatment about the beginning of June, and they were going to be out now, like sometime this week. So I guess he was out this week.
It was today.
Has he been sending you a like some type of summary report? He's supposed to be sending a summary report.
I think he just did it today for the first time, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I got one in the beginning.
I asked him to send copies to me. I haven't received copies. Could you send me the copy of the first one, Jesse?
Yeah.
And the main area, Steve, is there in the Colonial Terrace.
Right.
sections.
Mhm.
Right.
So
It's
yeah,
hard.
I had taken a look there, and then the other two locations. The one, that one location in the Sunset Arm is east of the bridge didn't look bad at all.
And the lily pads are coming back. I'm very happy to see
Yeah, that's a
that.
good
It
thing.
was-
Right.
They're back, maybe not in full bloom
Yeah.
yet, but they're getting there.
Yeah, and actually, when I was there were a couple of guys down there fishing, and but and then on the west side of the bridge, that looked okay too. But yeah, I was pretty pleased with Colonial Terrace. When I looked at it, it looked like it was pretty clean,
Mhm.
weed wise.
Good.
Okay, let me keep rolling here. Clean Ocean, new business. Any old business I'm missing? I'm sorry. Any old business?
It's not on our list, but I just wanted to report that I heard again from Dennis Walsh about the Asbury Avenue Bridge, and they finished up they're finishing up the final design of the curbing rehabilitation, which will include closing off the open chutes on both sides of the roadway on Asbury Avenue, that bridge that we've been talking
Yep.
about,
Mhm.
directing the stormwater runoff to the graded inlets to reduce the amount of trash in the stream. And they may need to regrade some areas on Asbury Ave to make sure the roadway drains as well. So they know that they're moving slowly, he said, but they hope to get the work done, finished within the next couple of months.
Yeah.
They said that the challenge is coordinating the curb work by the contractor with their house staff.
Right.
who's
I
gonna
talked
need-
to Joey Tor, I talked today, and he said it's definitely being worked.
They're
Definitely.
going to remove the guardrail, and so that's going to interfere with it may interfere with traffic flow. But anyway, they say the next couple of months,
Just so they don't do it the second week of
Yeah.
September. Make sure they don't do second week of September for See Here Now. That they'll be fine.
Yeah. So I've got a question about, so I took a look at the floating wetland islands in both Wesley and Sunset. And so they're looking great, but in Sunset, have they been repositioned? Because I could only find one, to be quite honest.
They're
with you.
blowing around. They're
Yeah.
literally floating.
They're literally floating around. Okay.
They're
Floating around.
moving. One of them is up by the bridge. Steve, you can
Okay.
see it. It's right. It's lodged there, actually.
All right. That I was looking around. I saw the one that is on the far western end, but I couldn't find the others. But,
Steve, I've
Yeah.
been talking to the Sunset Lake Commission for a year now, and they said, I thought they'd be honest, one day they were all in the one position.
yeah, that one
I thought they
location.
I thought they had tied them down, and then they were gone. So I guess they're in charge of that.
Yeah.
Our hands. I said we would, if we got them all in one position, we can make it, work out arrangements with Princeton Hydro again and get it done, or volunteers and do it ourselves. But
Right.
they have to be the lead, not us.
Yeah. I mean, they really should be using some type of heavy chain,
Sure.
to anchor them. I mean, it's I don't know what's snapping and causing them to float around, but
It was bad cable, but the ones in Wesley are great right now.
yeah. Oh yeah, they look great.
They're holding tight.
Can I just get back real quick to that Dennis Walsh report? I had asked Dennis to take a look at the Wickapecka Bridge, and the county was over there because a woman had fallen over there over that. The condition of that bridge is terrible, and there's a lot of runoff on the side, both sides of it. But anyway, I don't know what's going to happen with that next, but I've been asking for them to take a look at that and see what they can do. I don't know what you've heard, Don,
Yeah.
but
Well,
that area,
you
that
know what,
woman.
I'll take the
woman-
lead on that since it's an Ocean Township. I'll take the lead on that one. Okay,
Good. Okay.
because it's that's a constant discussion with Joey Tour about the renovation of that bridge.
Yeah. But it's a county bridge, right? It's just,
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Clean Ocean Action. They contacted me the other day, and Steve, we're gonna end up have another plan and do those upstreams testing sometime this summer during high volumes, I guess. Right. I assume we have to do it during a wet event.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, last week would have been great.
Yeah.
Earlier this week.
I can't get involved until later in July. So end of July, August, I can't get involved. So I'm up to my, what and work. So I'll get to that later. But we're going to plan August timeframe to get out there before people head out for Labor Day. But there's some streams we already talked about them. I'm not going to reiterate them. New business sheriff is in town again. The sheriff's department informed me they will be roaming the lake, and hopefully this time I'll ask them to do some enforcement stuff. We have a bunch of boats running around high speeds. We have photos of a bunch of them. A lot of them don't have any registration. I assume that people don't have any licenses to run the boats. That's another problem. So hopefully we can get that done sooner than later. Maybe even the 4th of July weekend. We'll see. I'm in contact with the sheriff on that one. Any other new business? Okay. Commissioner's last word. How about Eric Hotel? How we doing, Eric?
We're doing good.
Yeah. What you got?
Well, I guess I could share this. I was working up on my deck the other day, and I went to go kill what I thought was a little spider, but it was an odd looking spider. It had some black spots on it and it was small. So I kind of casually went to get it, and the next thing you know, this thing jumped, and I was chasing it around up on my deck. So what it turned out to be was a little nymph of a spotted lanternfly.
Oh.
Which, if you kind of remember last year, we had quite a few of them in our area, and they multiply 35 to 1. So it's going to be tough this year, and not that they are bother or you can hurt your trees or anything like that, but what they are is really a nuisance and quality of life issue. So right now the state only has a stamp out program where they, you as an individual take it on there and, step on it if you see them, but they jump. But I was doing some reading today, and beings are so new to the area, they don't know if they have any predators because they come from China, and they're last year actually was the first time we had them out here. But they said that koi eat spotted lanternflies, and the koi are related to a lot of the fish that we have in the Deal Lake.
Oh, boy.
Carp. So carp will eat spotted lanternflies. If we can get them to land on the lake, we can take care of a pretty big problem with the spotted
If they can
lanternflies.
kill the carp, that's even better. They'll kill 'em
But
all.
maybe if they eat enough of them, maybe they will. Anyway, that's what I have, and I want to wish everybody a good summer.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Can Carol talk yet?
I think she can.
Oh, there you go.
I wanted to just flip my commissioner's last word to Bob J, who's in the public, and direct everybody to his event tomorrow night that you can find information on the Deal Lake Watershed Alliance webpage. And I don't know if it's appropriate to give Bob a chance to plug that now, or he can do it later.
We'll wait for him. We'll wait for him.
It's on our website too. It's on the Deal Lake Commission website as well, Carolyn.
Awesome. Thank you,
Hey,
Gina.
Carol, why don't you talk about your interlaking projects? You got two big projects going on. Your Deal Lake projects. The town's putting the access points.
Yes, they are in. They are actually in. And I think there's been a lot of talk in town about them. I'd like to see a little bit more shoreline stabilization. But I've been out of town for a couple of days, and when I tried to talk to Lori at Borough Hall, it was on a holiday, but I was working, so I forgot. But so I have not spoken to her about that yet. I know that there were quite a few other residents that all had the same kind of concerns. But they are complete now. So I do need to speak with the township official about those.
Okay.
What are they?
It was part of a open spaces grant, I think. I might be saying that wrong. But it put in 2 access points. It was put in
access
2
points into the lake, or like you can bring a boat or something?
access. I guess there's steps if you can take your boat down the steps. But yes, there's one on Windermere, sort of in the center of Windermere. That one has a rather unstable surface with some pea gravel in it. That is not going to be great for taking like a kayak down. And I did use that launch point for my own kayak. And then the other one is on Bridlemere, which is more pedestrian friendly. And that one has cinders on it, which is more tightly packed, but again, steps. So I am not sure what the entire plan is. I do need to go see those plans.
But it's access point. The goal is good. It's a good goal. So,
They look very pretty. They
Yeah.
do look very pretty. Yes.
and I think
And
they're going to have
I-
racks. I think I heard racks they're going to have. And
That was part of the plan, yes. And I did walk around every morning with my dog, and we kind of checked to make sure that nothing was going into the lake.
There you go. No, it looks buttoned up for the most part. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Margot, how are we doing, Margot?
Hi, good. Just the only thing I can really think of is the bulkhead was damaged, obviously, that the last weekend of May, unfortunately, by a police act. It's really a police. The Deal police are taking care of it, but a car went off the road, and it's actually a crime that happened. The car did go into the lake. The guy fled, but we're looking into getting the bulkhead fixed. And the other portion that's been damaged that we don't even know how it was damaged, that's a little bit further to the east of that.
Oh.
And we had 2 contractors come, and we haven't gotten the estimates back.
Oh.
We're also trying to see if the person who damaged it, if their insurance can pay for it.
Okay.
You might know more about it than I do, Don. I've been away also, and I know you've been in contact with Marilyn, so do you know?
All I know, I grabbed a big chunk of wood out. And I was really
Yeah.
impressed how well it was built. So
Oh, good,
Peter had the contract on that. It was a very well-designed bulkhead, I'll tell you that. It weighed a ton.
good. Yeah, it's a shame that that happened, and it sounds like it's a,
Was it a police? You said with the police were running after the guy? And the guy,
oh, yeah, apparently he's got a very long list of crimes he committed, so.
did he know he stepped on Sophie Bovis's grand piano?
I'll have
He
to ask.
didn't know that. So that's could have got
Is
the
that what- you
we could
think-
have got the piano out at the same
Do
time.
you
We
think
tied
that's
to the
where it
car.
is, really?
It's definitely there.
Right there?
I have photos of it. Yep.
Yeah,
Anyway, but thanks, Margot.
it's an unfortunate thing that happened, yes.
Wow, that's a good story.
Yeah. Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th. Mr. Promer.
Fromer? Someday you'll learn how to say my name
I
right.
know, I thought about that too.
Anyway, a couple things. As far as the boats, it is just constant. They're coming out and they're making some pretty strong wakes out there. I
Okay.
don't think boats with that kind of power are supposed to be operating, although I don't know exactly what the regulations say, but I can tell you that those wakes that some of these boats are making,
5 miles an hour. 5 miles an hour.
oh, they're going more than that. I can run 5 miles an hour. I can't outrun those boats. Anyway, the wakes are huge. They're going from they go down the middle of Lake where I am, and the wakes just go right to the banks. That's and I see it a lot. So
Okay, got it.
other thing is I can report that the ospreys are thriving. I see them in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evenings, and they are just doing great out there.
Yeah.
Coming up with fish and eating them up in the branches, and it's nice to see the osprey population thriving. So that's
awesome.
all I have to say.
Okay.
And happy 4th to everybody.
Jeannie?
Well, first, I have two things. First, I just want to say that, now that we've wrapped up this goose remediation initiative that the DLC started this year, I want to say thank you and congratulations, really, because it was a big effort and it's a major accomplishment for a new initiative to have all 7 towns involved, to have the cooperation of all of our commissioners out there talking to the homeowners and getting the permission slip signed and back, and to have these nests treated. So I said it before, but now that we've completed the project, I just want to congratulate everyone and thank everyone for that, especially the property owners who agreed to let the USDA go on their property and treat goose nests. And we have seen a reduction in goose population all around the lake. All of us have seen that. So kudos to everybody. Secondly, next month, July 20th, Ryan Burke, who is an Eagle Scout, Don knows him well.
Not yet. Not yet.
What?
He is not an Eagle Scout yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Boy Scout. He has completed He's completed installing the monofilament recycling tubes around the lake to help minimize the amount of monofilament that gets into the lake. And he's going to come and speak to us, just show us his project, and he can screen share and show us pictures of where the locations are. But I think you'll be very impressed with that. He's 18 or 19 now, Don, is he?
Oh, he's 18.
18. Okay, so he'll be here next month for our meeting. We can put him on the agenda, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Can we open it for public meeting?
Sure. A motion to open the meeting to the public?
So
I'll
moved.
offer.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Okay, anybody out there?
Bob?
Bob? How was Bob?
I am here. Hold on one second.
Can we see Bob?
I got all types of computer issues here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can't get the camera going, but
There
so
we-
just
Well, it was
there
doing good until you saw your face. That was good.
yeah, see that. Just a couple things real quick. Yeah, I want to thank for the support for the paddle. We have an amazing amount of people going out tomorrow night. We have tomorrow night paddle time kayaks are sold out. We actually have a waiting list for kayaks. I've never had that happen before.
Wow.
Wow.
We have probably 30 boats going on the lake. I'm actually a little concerned with the number
Wow.
from a safety
That's
perspective.
great.
Yeah, so really, the weather looks nice tomorrow night. So I think people are just, getting excited about it. So thank you very much for that. And Bruce, there's an osprey nest right by the lake, right by the ramp at 7-Eleven where there's babies on it. Very easy to see. Juvenile osprey peeking their heads out. So it's really exciting if you want to go over there and check it out. And then the last thing I'll say, I sent Don and Jeannie a picture of this. There's wood ducks nesting on the lake. We have baby wood ducks, which if you've ever seen a wood duck, the male wood duck, you'll never see a more amazing bird than that. And to have them on our lake is really special. It's just a sign of all the great things that everyone's been doing. So they're really shy. It's not great to talk about where they are actually, but I think a great Eagle Scout project next year, get now for this year, for the spring for next year, we'll be putting up some wood duck boxes. They need hollow trees nested. There's not a lot of them.
Wood duck. I'm writing that down.
Wood duck boxes. Yeah, it's a real popular. There's lots of instructions on it, and the lake is perfect for it. So
Okay.
we can attract them. It's a real statement about the lake. But
As long as JCP&L doesn't knock it down, we're good. Right?
I just Googled wood duck. Man, these things are wild looking, huh?
isn't it amazing, Bruce? I mean,
Holy moly.
you can't imagine something like that is out there.
Wow.
That looked fake. When you sent me the picture, I thought it was wood.
They look fake. You're right.
It was
John.
unbelievable.
Then if you look at the female, that's the shame. The female is just brown. It's like seems so unfair. The male has all those crazy colors.
Go
Looks
on the
like the-
Merlin, go on the Merlin app. Jeannie has a link on the website, and you can see a lot of pictures of the males and the females.
Yeah.
It's like cardinals. The male is gorgeous and the female.
By the
Same thing with
way,
mallards. Mallards are the same too.
hey Bob, there's a osprey trying to build a nest down the street from my house on the Westboro Bridge on the northwest corner. I saw all these sticks laying on the ground, and I looked up. They're starting to build a nest.
They're probably juveniles.
Practicing.
Immature last year, probably, because it's too late to nest now. But they'll build it.
But they're practicing right now. It's amazing.
Last year, you were kind enough to extend an offer to the commission and others to do a special paddle. Are you thinking about doing that again this year?
I'd love to do it, Gene. We pick a night, I would love, or a morning. I would absolutely do it again. I'd love to have everybody out there and see these things.
Yeah.
There's rumor about the
I think the weather kind of got
weather
away
got away
last year.
last year.
Yeah.
Also about otters back on the lake. I don't know if you all.
I know.
They've been
Oh.
there.
He promised me otters if we go out.
Yeah, I said Carol. Yeah.
Hey, what
It's like whale
what time
watching.
is it? 7:00, Bob? What time are you going out?
6:30 tomorrow night.
6:30.
6:30.
And
it's
you
at
wanna
the boat-
do-
at the boat ramp?
At the boat ramp.
Which way are you going?
Okay.
We're gonna head towards North Wanamassa, Wing, and come back out and head into the sunset, right into towards Sunset Bridge.
Okay.
Oh, that's so nice.
Have a wonderful time. It'll be beautiful. It's great. It's great that you're doing this.
Maybe I'll
Yeah,
go. Maybe my wife and I'll go.
Worked out really good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Carol, are you gonna go?
Yes. Yes, that's
Maybe I'll come over to your place and leave from your side.
that's good. I'm
I
trying
go
to
with
get
you
some
and-
neighbors to go with me too.
Can I go with you and Diane? Done.
Oh, little paddler. Maybe.
I'll get
yeah.
my own.
I'll talk to the boss. I'll see what she said. All right. Any more? Any others? Thanks, Bob.
You bet.
Okay, I guess that's it. And
Anybody else from the public? I see Rita
yeah.
middle there.
All right, we're gonna roll it up.
A
Let's
motion to
close.
close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? A motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second,
Offered.
all
I'll
in
second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye, aye.
Aye. Opposed? No.
Happy
Thank
4th of
you.
July.
Happy 4th of July. Be safe.
July, everybody.
Safe.
Have a great weekend.
Enjoy the
You-
lake this week. It's gonna be a great week for the lake.